My mom told me when I was growing up to be careful because my body's not the same as everyone else and I can get injured easy. I'm more susceptible to viruses and other things, but she never exactly explained to me why. Until one day I found out the harsh truth, the reality of my life.
My mom's unexpectedly passed away, and that's led me to discovering things I was never supposed to know. Do you think that people who die with their lies go to heaven? Or a version of it, even if their lies were innocent and simply meant to protect another person from hatred? That question has been on my mind a lot lately. After suffering the ultimate betrayal, I'm left wishing that I had remained ignorant. At least my mom's memory would remain untainted, and I would not have so many questions right now. She's not there for me to ask these questions, and I will probably never know how or why the answers as to why my whole life is nothing more than a lie. All I have are pieces of paper that tell me my history, which has been kept away from me. I've looked over them a million times, and each time I get a flashback to my mom telling me all lies. Growing up, I was a sheltered kid. My mother told me that my immune system was not strong, so if I wanted to do any activity, I had to run it by her first. I had medicine that I took up until I was 17 to help with my immune system. I knew that I've always had to be careful and I had to stay close to my mother or something bad was going to happen to me. Well, she did not allow me to drink, smoke, eat too much fat, or engage in anything that she felt was quote-unquote unhealthy. She did not like me being around sick people or engaging in dangerous activities such as camping. She would just always say that anything could get me. It was like the boogeyman was around every corner and she was the only one who could keep me safe. I went to community college and stayed at home with her. I recently started working and I love my job. I have to sanitize everything that I touch and I have to let my mother know everything that I'm doing at all times. It's often felt like a cage and I've longed for reprieve, but there is none. My mother said that I was weak, so I believed it. When we went to the doctors so that I could get treated, she often spoke with them behind my back. Whenever I asked them questions, she told me that it was just routine. There was nothing wrong with me, and then it all became unwoven, all because of a poorly built building. My mother was having coffee at a restaurant when the balcony above the restaurant just simply gave out. She ended up crushed underneath all the debris, and she did not make it out because she bled out. I got the call while I was at work, and when I came back, she was gone. It was hard for me, and I'll not go into details about how I mourned. I was not okay for weeks, but then I decided that since she was gone, nothing was going to keep me hostage anymore. I didn't care that everything could harm me. What was the point of living when the only person I've ever loved was no more? I put the house on the market and gave away most of the things. Those that I could not sell or give away, I destroyed, and I wanted nothing to do with that house. I'm 21 and ready to live my own life. I'm so tired of being careful and keeping it together from my mom. One day, I was working through the attic, sorting through what I needed and what I did not need, and I was expecting quite a lot of money from the sale of the house and had my eye on a chic apartment closer to my workplace. As I was going through all of the stuff, I noticed that there was a loose floorboard. So I instantly thought that there was some secret, a mystery hidden there, like in the movies. Maybe I would find out that I was a royal princess or something. I don't know, can't a girl dream? Well, instead I was met with many files and papers, all with whom my name was on. I could barely tell what was going on, so I took the box and went downstairs with it so I could read properly. When I found out what was truly harrowing, for it was records that showed me being checked in and out of the hospital for multiple donations, ranging from blood to stem cells and other things, and there was so much that I did not understand, but from what I could tell, I've been donating to a girl named Susanna. I knew who Susanna was, I just never met her. See, my mom stayed away from her family, and I have no idea why they did not get along. Her sister was named Susanna, and I then checked the age of the person, and it turned out that she was about 2 years older than me. It could not be her sister. It had to be her sister's daughter, the one who was sick. I remember my mother telling me years ago that her sister's daughter was chronically ill because she had the same condition as me. She said that the girl did not have that many years to live, and soon she would be no more. I remember feeling sorry for her and not wanting to be like her. But why the hell was I donating things to her when she was also sick with whatever I had? And as I sat there, I realized that I did not even know about what my condition was. For the first time in my life, I booked myself a doctor's appointment on my own. I did not use the ones that my mom used because I simply did not want them to lie to me. I used a private doctor who came highly recommended, and I took the recordings with me and explained my situation to her. After I was done telling her my story, she looked like she was about to faint due to how horrified she was. She then asked if I've ever consented to any of what happened, and I said that I could not. My mother just told me nothing. She explained that it made sense since I was underage and could not make my own medical decisions. She told me that she would have to look over everything that I've sent her, but she was going to do some testing and scans with me over the week. So, I went in to see her during the week and we did a lot of testing. Another week goes by and she called me back in. She told me that whoever had been my doctor over the past couple of years was not a good person. I asked what she meant by that, and she told me that I've only had one functioning kidney. She finds documents for a kidney transplant in the files and scans confirmed it. I did not hear the rest of what she was saying. I was reeling. I went home and searched for cases like this, and that's when I found out about designer babies. Babies who are made to save other babies. I was one of them, but for my cousin, I wondered why my mother would let them be proud of me like that. Well, she let them invade my body and take my organs to save someone else. Did they give her money? Was it even worth it? I looked through my mother's financials after leaving the doctor, and there was nothing that I could find. Her sister never sent her any money over the years, which now leaves me with questions. My mother used to say that I was the most precious thing in her life. She used to say that I was her diamond and nothing was more valuable than me. So then why did she keep these secrets from me, I'm asking now? Why? Why did she put my future in danger so that I could just save Susanna? Why was that so important? She was just my cousin. Anything could happen to me because of the things that they did to my body over the years, and what did I not ask more questions for? Why did I believe them when they told me that I had a very bad bug in my tummy and that's why they had to operate on me when I was 14? I have so many questions right now and I need answers. My mother is not there to answer those questions, so there's only one other person who can answer the questions for me. It's time for me to meet my mother's sister for the first time in my life. She has to be cruel for her to do something like this to me and not even reach out once over the years. She didn't even attend my mother's funeral. I'll update you guys soon enough. Update number 1. It's either I'm really brave or I'm really stupid. I met up with a lawyer and explained my case. I said I was not okay with what they did to me and I needed someone to pay. He said that he would have to speak to my mother's sister and her husband so that we could figure out how best to go about it. So I went out of town to hear her out before we started the process of suing. I just needed more answers. Why did my mother feel such loyalty to her sister? I found out where her sister stayed and what she did and where she worked, and I showed up at her house. She lived in a really big house, and it was very evident that she was wealthy. I managed to get into her house with no hustle, saying that I was her niece, and I had my mother's picture with me to prove it, and they let me in. She has no idea at all that I knew everything, so at least I had the element of surprise. She was very nice to me when she saw me, saying that she had last seen me a long time ago. We got all the casualties out of the way, and then I told her that we need to talk about Susanna. To her credit, she did not react at all. She remained stoic, asking me what I knew about her. I told her that I knew that Susanna was her only child with her husband, and I also told her that it was thanks to me that Susanna is alive. I asked if she's here. I want to see her. Her eyes watered, and soon as I mentioned my cousin, she asked if my mom told me everything, and I denied it. I walked her through how I came to find out the truth, and she paused for a bit as she digested the information that I just provided. She then told me that she and my mother made a deal a long time ago. When Susanna was born, she was very weak and always in and out of hospital, and she eventually needed a bone marrow transplant. When they found out that her sister's newborn baby was a perfect match, so when I was strong enough, I was able to donate to her. She cried and said that over the years, my mother allowed me to help Susanna out, In exchange, she paid for all my studies, medical bills, extracurriculars, you name it. I was never to find out, because it would traumatize me. The kidney transplant was the very last procedure. It was such a success that my cousin could live a very normal life. She's been living a normal life for years now, but just when her life was getting back to normal, she was admitted to the hospital once again. This time she's experiencing liver failure and is on the transplant list. She said that she could never have dreamt of asking me to help them, so now they're just hoping for a miracle. She then sobbed and said that even though I could not understand her selfish actions, she just loved her daughter too much to give up. She said that she was sorry I had to find this out, and I listened to her, and I felt sorry for her, but not sorry enough to let it go. I told her that because of her, I was not able to live a normal life. I've lived a half-life, and I have no idea that I was getting robbed of it since my birth. I told her that I felt like a guinea pig for wealthy people like her. I told her that because of that, I was not going to let this go. I told her that I was working with my lawyer to build a case and make an example of people like her. I get it, her child's sick and it's sad, but what about me? I could have died trying to save her child, and my mother would have to just grieve. In addition to that, she did not even try to reach out over the years and explain to me what was going on. My whole childhood was a lie because of adults who made a choice for me. So I asked her where her husband was, for I was going to sue him too. She then said that unfortunately he was no more. Oh, how convenient, he gets to escape punishment because of death. I told her that I was going to stay in town for a couple of days, and then I was going to deal with her legally. She asked if it was money that I wanted, and I said yes, I was going to take her for all of that. If it meant that it would fill the gap that is my heart because of her. She disgusted me sitting there crying. Who does not know sorrow? I know loss like she could never imagine. I've been losing since I was born, parts of myself, and I have to carry on. Her tears do not faze me. Her little sob story's not going to make me feel guilty for putting her through this. Going to get it. I sat there and watched her cry, and it did nothing to me. All I could feel was anger and even more determination to take her down. I can imagine how she convinced my mother to make that deal. My mother has always been a morally correct person who would never do something like this. Therefore, I know this woman is acting. She somehow cheated my mother in this deal. I know it. Mom, I might be having a hard time forgiving you right now. But don't you worry. You're not to blame. Your selfish sister is. Update number 2. So today I agreed to settle. She offered me quite a lot of money to settle and leave this house alone. No one will ever find out about this, and I just wanted to do a quick update before I delete all my posts. She has no idea that I posted about this on social media, and if she knows, then it'll be the breach of the contract. I know that you'll say that I sold out. Well, it was my body that was used for spare parts for years, and I deserve a compensation. I plan to do a lot with the money once I get it. I think I'm going to quit my job and travel the world. My doctor gave me a clean bill of health when I saw her, so I know that I'll be able to do some things that I never thought that I would be able to do. Of course, I'm going to be careful. I want to live a long life, get married, and have kids of my own, and I'm also going to see Susanna before I leave. I feel a bit bad about how resentful I was. I guess I was just seeing red at the time. I never really thought about her. I've not seen her before, and I wonder how awkward it would be. I do hope she finds a donor soon so that all this will be worth it. I can't imagine years of being in pain and being kept alive, being mended and broken some more. It must be sad. So yeah, I guess that's the end of my little adventure that my mother left me in the attic. I have to go to sleep now. I don't feel that good. I feel a bit hot, and my head is something else. I think that I'm not used to the heat on the outside yet. I don't know. When I travel, I'm not going to go any place that's too hot. I would like somewhere with a cool breeze so I can clear my mind. I'm suddenly faced with the question of who I really am. Now that my mother's gone and I have come into, the fortune, whom I'm going to be is a question. For once, I really want to date. I've never dated in my life because Mom was so scared for me. I don't even know what kind of partner I want, if even I want a partner. Talk about a whole new world, but I have a good feeling that things are only going to get better. Update number 3. Piece of unsolicited advice: don't take anything from someone that you don't trust, especially if it's something to eat or to drink. I made that mistake and I almost died. You ready for this one? Remember how I was starting to feel really weird in the previous updates? Well, turns out that my aunt literally poisoned me. That slick woman was never going to give me what I wanted, ever. So, I was very delusional to think that she would want to give up her fortune. Her greed ran deep, and it was not even going to make a dent in her finances, but she decided that no, she wanted to get rid of me instead. It was my luck that I decided to leave my apartment when I started to feel bad, and a nice old lady who's my neighbor saw me and could tell that something was wrong, and she managed to call emergency, services for me, who were able to just determine that I ingested something that I was not supposed to. When I woke up, my nurse told me that they had to resuscitate me. They said that there was a chance that when I woke up, I would have never been the same again. Luckily, they managed to get all of the poison out and they saved my life. I found out that I was in a private hospital and something about that hospital was oh so familiar. It took a while for my mind to focus, but then I realized that this was the hospital where Susanna was, and I remember seeing the name in the documents which I found in the attic. I knew that there was only one person who could have poisoned me. It was her mom. I didn't know if she would just come looking for me, so I gave strict instructions to the nurses and doctors not to let anyone see me. I was there for another half a day before I decided that I was going to go see Susanna. It was a lot easier to see her than I thought. I found her laying in bed and she was awake reading a book. She looked a lot like her mom, but she was very frail. I came to sit next to her and greeted her. She was shocked to see me but was not very alarmed. She asked what I was doing here and her mother told her that I was sick and would pass away soon. I told her I'm not sick, I'm healthy, but I've been poisoned by her mom. A nurse came into my room at that moment and asked me to leave. But Susanna said that I could stay because I was family. She asked me to tell her all about the details. She could not believe that her mother would try to do something like that to me. I said that I found out all that's happened and had gone to her mother to confront her. She signed over some money to me, but when I got home, I got very sick and woke up in the hospital, and the toxicology report proved that I've been poisoned. As soon as I said that, it seemed like things started to make sense in her head. She then said that it would explain why her mother had told her that there was a chance for her to get a donor soon. She said that she had been trying to let her mother know that she was in too much pain and did not want to do this, but the woman insisted. The truth was that she wanted to pass away. She didn't want to do another surgery, she just wanted to be free. She was crying when she said this and my heart sank. So I asked her if she knew about me and she said yes. She wanted to reach out many times, but her mother simply did not allow it, especially after her father passed, because her mother was determined to keep her alive. She then said that she did not want to have to die so that she could live. She needed me to live and have a good life. That's what she wanted. She then touched my hand and said that it was nice to finally meet her sister. That's when I told her to pause. I'm not your sister. I'm your cousin. She laughed and said that's what I was told after the woman who raised me took me away. But the truth was that the mother that I knew was my surrogate mom. Her mom could no longer carry the term, so they used her sister. The mom who raised me then took me away, and she kept on helping Susanna, but under the condition that I would never know what was happening to me, and I would never meet my real mother or Susanna. My biological mom then signed away her rights to me, and thus my mother raised me. So there I was, having to wrap my head around the fact that my bio mom would have rather I died to save Susanna. Yeah, that's a pretty tough pill to swallow. I left Susanna after I spoke for a while. I promised to visit her the next day, and when I got back to my room, my nurse was very angry, but she had news. She told me that a woman came looking for my body because I signed papers where I said that I would donate my organs if I passed, and she told the woman to leave because she's not permitted to visit. I told my nurse to call security now if that woman ever made it to my room again, for she was the one who poisoned me. Needless to say, I slept with one eye open until I was discharged. I did see my sister and we had some conversations afterwards, but I'll let you know about them soon. Right now, I'm focused on getting that woman sent to jail for trying to kill me and use me for my organs. I never signed papers for money. It was papers for me to give away parts of myself after she successfully got rid of me. That woman scares me so much. Update number 4. Hey guys, small update. It's been a rough couple of weeks. All hell's broken loose, and I just wanted this nightmare to be over. Susanna and I have both opened cases against our mother, and we spoke and realized that she's been controlling our lives since birth, and we cannot let her do it anymore. I've also gotten a protection order from her after she poisoned me. The matter of the poisoning is still under investigation, and I hope that she gets persecuted. Susanna is suing for the right to a peaceful death. She doesn't want any more surgeries to keep her alive, and she's tired and now just wants to rest. She told me that once she's gone, I'm the sole inheritor of her father's estate, as I am his remaining child. Her mother had the power of attorney because she was sick, but the estate simply belongs to me. I've already started the process of trying to get the estate from her, and I know it's not going to be easy because she still will want to hold on to what's hers. But we're not backing down. Both Susanna and I are tired of her lies and selfish actions. Update number 5. Susanna won her case. She passed away peacefully a month ago. Before that, we had the chance to bond as sisters should and could, and I've never met a pure yet sad soul like Susanna. She shared with me agony that she felt when her mother kept on keeping her alive against her choice. She shared how she was never able to have a normal life, and I could relate too, since I had also had a pretty sheltered life. When she passed with assistance, she was not in any pain, and she was happy. I cried a lot, but I was also happy for her because at least now she'll be at peace. I had a small ceremony for her, but her mother was not invited, of course. She's refused to let her mom send her off due to the resentment towards her, and I felt a bit sorry for her mom. I can't bring myself to call that woman my own mother. She was crushed when she heard that Susanna was no more. By the time I was suing for the estate, she did not even back as hard. She didn't even care to fight. That was surprising because she was previously vowing that I was not going to get anything. She just let me win, and I got my father's estate without hustle, but she looked like a shadow of her former self due to the loss of her daughter. That was the only time I truly felt sorry for her, but it was fleeting. I could not forget the things that she said and did to me. She had called me a pest when I confronted her for poisoning me. She told me that I was just a science experiment meant to keep the child that she loved alive. Final update. It's been several months since my sister passed away. I bring her flowers when I can. I miss her. I wish we had more time together, but fate was unkind. I've been up to a lot in my lifetime, and I've decided to start a business I've always wanted to, but I did not have any capitals to do so. Well, now that I do, I've been working on my business for several months. I've also given myself time to socialize with other people and just gain new experiences. I've made some new friends in this town, and I never want to leave. In a couple of years, I might travel the world, but now I'm just focusing on having a stable life. I got a call some time ago being told that they had concluded the investigation into my mother and found that she was guilty on trying to kill me. She denied it with all that she had, but the evidence presented made her the culprit. For trying to kill me, she earned herself merely, only 3 years in prison. It's a lot less than I would have liked, but at least it's something. So now she's in prison and she's not been there for that long, and she's trying to get me to come and see her. I'm guessing that she's going to try to act like she was sorry for what she did and lure me in, but I'm not going to give her what she wants. She has shown me her true colors from the day that we met, and she's never loved me. She's not the one who carried me for 9 months, therefore she's not my real mother. My real mother is no more. I forgave my real mother for keeping the truth from me, but I will just never ever forgive her for all the pain that she put me and Susanna through. She has a god complex and wants to control everything. She cannot let things just be, and I'm not going to allow her to have any influence in my life while she's here. In fact, I'm going to make sure that all calls from there are blocked, and then I'm going to move forward with my life. I crave normalcy so much after the past couple of months, and sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I chose to remain in that small town. Would Susanna, my biological mom, have still managed to save her daughter, or was it too late? I don't know, but I don't regret going to confront her. I'm happy that my life is not a mystery anymore.
I don't know what's more crazy, this entire story, or the fact that this attempted murder and everything else that OP had to endure, that lady only was sent to prison for 3 years? Yeah, I get it. Her daughter was going through some pretty bad stuff and everybody was grieving. But that doesn't mean you can poison someone and set them up to take all their stuff. I mean, that's just crazy and wicked. And I do want to know what you guys think of the situation. What do you make of it? If you were in OP's position, what exactly would you do? I would love to hear from you guys because this one was a very different story and it had a lot of dramatic elements to it and a lot of touchy subjects, so I just want to know what majority of people would do. Let's talk about it downstairs, guys. My name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate stories like this every single day, so if you do want to be a part of these daily animated stories, go ahead, click that subscribe button right around here, and I hope to see you tomorrow. And just remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya.